I am buzzing with today's guest. I've got a 19-year-old guy on called Thomas Atkinson. He is England's amputee goalkeeper. How you doing, mate?
No, I was just born without my left hand and my left foot. When people say like, oh, does it feel weird? But really, it's all I've ever knew. By the age of 9, I got offered the chance to go train with England. I started my career off at Newcastle and I made my debut when I was like 15. I mean, to have 18 caps by now, I'm very happy with that. In amputee football, you use crutches when you're not feeling it. If I had a crutch, I'd just be going around in circles. I could not use 2 crutches, so I'd probably be useless there. When we recently played at the Nations League, which we won, and I got goalkeeper of the tournament, came off the back of that. I mean, it was hosted in Warsaw in Poland, so that came off of that. There was like, oh, there's like opportunities, like, might be able to go playing for Legia Warsaw. And I was like, I think so. Like,
Even just chatting to you for briefly, I find you really inspirational.
I mean, I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and have 2 hands. You've got to accept what you've got. Like, the cards have been dealt.
I think you've got a huge career ahead of you, not just in the sport, but in the social media aspect of it, mate. I can see you going really far.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
What a save from Mark Howard.
Being a professional goalkeeper, I definitely understand the importance of recovery for the next performance. I've finally found the perfect product to help me recover. Introducing the Mito Mobile Flex from Mito Red Light. Their industry-leading devices harness the power of red light therapy, emitting red low light wavelengths through the skin. This safe and effective process kickstarts natural tissue recovery and a huge range of added benefits. Whether I'm at home relaxing or whether I'm in the studio researching goalie or no goalie, Mito Mobile Flex is designed to help me recover at my ultimate convenience. Its portability is unmatched and it even comes in its own handy travel case. You can effortlessly slip it into your suitcase or your kit bag. That's what makes it so travel friendly. The Mobile Flex offers freedom and flexibility, saving you the need to find a plug with up to 3 hours use on one single charge. That's enough charge to get me through 2 90-minute matches to help my recovery. It's an on-the-go solution that gives you no excuses but to aid your recovery. My favourite feature about the Mobile Flex unit is its spot treatment capabilities. Whether it's a sore knee, hand, foot or ankle after any intense matches, the device delivers targeted and immediate red light therapy exactly where you need it. The Mito Mobile Flex unit helps keep me in top form and you can trust in it too. Hit the link in the description below for your 10% saving using code FLEX10 from the Yours Mine Away podcast. Now that's a great save by Mark Howard. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Yours Mine Away podcast with me, Mark Howard. I am buzzing with today's guest because there's going to be some stories that I've never heard before and I'm really intrigued into a lot of what goes on. What many of you won't know is I've got a 19-year-old guy on called Thomas Atkinson. And he's actually an England international. He plays in Poland for Legia Warsaw. But he is England's amputee goalkeeper. How you doing, mate?
I'm absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's been a long way to get in. I'm buzzing to get this started. It's class.
Yeah, mate, honestly, I can't wait to hear your background stories and stuff like that. And I really appreciate you coming in. I mean that from the bottom of my heart because it's something that's opened my eyes up. The more research I've been doing into you and your career and the rules and the regulations of being an amputee footballer, it's actually an incredible little world.
Yeah, I mean, it's not seen by a lot of people. I mean, it's an absolute pleasure to be here to start with. And I appreciate the opportunity to share my story and obviously to a wide audience and show like disability sport and like especially amputee football and myself. So yeah, massively appreciate the opportunity. So
being an amputee footballer, then can you run me through how you break down your body?
Yeah, so
the best way of saying it.
So when I was just a baby, I don't have like a traumatic story like some people have got to deal with like your cancers, your accidents, stuff like that. I mean, I'd say I'm lucky as in the spectrums in like I didn't have to go through that trauma or incidents. So I was just born with it. I've got a boring story. When some people say like, "Did you get bit by a shark?" I was like, I sometimes tell kids, "Yeah, I did get bit by a shark," just for their engagement, and they want to hear that.
Yeah, definitely. All the birds.
Yeah, exactly. they want a story or something like that. You can wait till someone hears in like a bar or something like that you got bit by a shark and then everyone wants to know your story. But no, I was just born without my left hand and my left foot. So realistically, when people say like, oh, does it feel weird or how do you do this? Does it feel different to this? But realistically, it's all I've ever knew. So when they say like, does it feel different? I can't really give an answer because I don't know what it feels like to have 2 hands.
Yeah.
So I mean, you get your own ways about it. So I mean, I'm used to it by now. This is my usual. I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and have 2 hands, which would be very weird. But yeah, I found my own ways about it.
Yeah, obviously being an amputee goalie then, one of the rules is you have to have an amputated arm, don't you, or hand, don't you? So obviously that's like one of the biggest fundamentals of being a goalkeeper. Getting into being a goalkeeper then would have been a weird start.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you say people like, oh, like, okay, you play football, like you've seen some people like with one hand playing football. I mean, there's a woman in America called, I think her second name's Pickett, and she plays with one arm. And you say like, all right, okay, what position do you play? It's like goalkeeper, right? Okay, no. Because if you've got one hand, it's probably the best position, well, the only position you wouldn't put you is probably in that. So explaining that's obviously a pretty hard run, but I played mainstream, like I played like outfield, and I loved playing outfield. I still play a little bit outfield. I still back myself as a decent outfielder. But obviously opportunities came around, and I mean this was a requirement to play for England, and I mean what have you got to do to play for England? I mean
Unbelievable.
I'm there for it.
Yeah, no, exactly that. But you could qualify to play outfield anyway because of your amputated foot anyway.
Yeah.
So like you've got the best of both worlds, really.
Yeah, I mean you could say that, but like I'd be mega versatile. I could have a goalkeeper and striker in the same guy, but no, I don't. In amputee football, you use crutches when you're not outfield, and goalkeepers have restricted arm. But if I had a crutch, I'd just be going around in circles. I could not use 2 crutches, so I'd probably be useless there. But
right, can you run us through some of the rules then?
yeah, absolutely. So amputee football is a 7-a-side game, 50-minute games, smaller than obviously mainstream games, but some people like that. Some say it's a bit like more bite-sized things. I mean, like I think a few companies try to run like the smaller games. So 50-minute games, 7-a-side. All outfield players use crutches because they're missing a leg, but it doesn't matter like what part of the leg. Like some people lose it right at the foot, some people lose it by the knee, some people just don't have any of the leg at all. It doesn't really matter as long as you're on crutches. Goalkeepers who have an arm deficiency, so they'll play with their arm like pretty much inside the top. So as in like, I mean, I'm lucky as in regards to like I've lost my arm at like just missing my hand. But some people might lose at the elbow or like the shoulder or like in between. So just keep it fair. Everyone plays with their arm inside the top, just to keep it as a level playing field. Goals are smaller than 11-side goals. They're about 9-side goals, sometimes a little bit bigger in between. Apart from that, I mean, it's very hard to explain. You're probably best to just have a look at it.
Yeah, like I was saying, I was doing my research and watching some of it. It's actually incredible and how competitive it is. And like full-blooded, it's like people proper challenging and they're on crutches and.
I thought like that's one of the things that like people don't really understand. Is in like the field disability sports and say like, oh, it's like inclusive or like it's just nice to like have like a platform to play. Yeah. But I mean, it's definitely like people want to win.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a major like men's sport. I mean, like if you look at some part of like disability football, some people are just happy to be there. Whereas everyone wants to win. Like you're playing for something, you represent your country, and there's no way you're just gonna get on the pitch and be like, "Oh, I'm happy I've got a platform to play football." Yeah. You go out and represent your country, so you've got to put everything on the line. I mean,
I know you're only 19 as well, right? But the sport itself is obviously, from looking at it, is growing as well.
Yeah, massively. I mean, I probably came into like the right time. So like 10 years ago, I mean, the sport was nowhere near it is now. I mean, we've got like loads of sponsors and like it's massively built. I mean, it's professional in many places, not in England quite, but in like Poland, Turkey, it was for a little bit in Russia, and there's like loads of money coming into it, and it's a great time to be a part of it. So I'm blessed in my position, really.
Yeah, no, right. We're going to crack on with some quick-fire questions, and I'm going to come back round to everything, especially playing in Poland, which is just incredible. The England stuff as well, right? So this is just some light-hearted stuff.
Yeah, okay.
So I've got ketchup or mayo.
Honestly, neither. I'm not a sauce guy.
Not a sauce guy?
No, it's very controversial.
Not a northerner, loves gravy or anything?
I can get on board with gravy.
Yeah, there we go.
Ketchup, mayo, though, I'll stay away.
Yeah, well, obviously, you live in Carlisle now.
Yeah.
You're from Carlisle?
Yeah, born and raised. I mean, you'll know it yourself. So I like it. I'm from like a smaller city, and like my story's quite helped me. As in, like I'm like one in a very, very few in Carlisle. Whereas if I was in like, for example, London, I'd be like one in like a million with a similar story. So it's really helped my background being from Carlisle.
Yeah, no, obviously I played at Carlisle for a year and that, and it's a tough place. It's cold and
I know,
wet, very wet.
It really is cold. I remember watching you in the stands. I went to Carlisle games. I was like, that probably would you say one of your best seasons?
Well, obviously it was a different role for myself. It was like to try and help the club stay up, and like, we were under Kosh heavily that season.
Major.
We went through a couple of managers, and I really enjoyed my time because I took on a massive leadership role in the dressing room. So not only was I like trying to do the best for me and play as best as I can, but I was trying to Monday to Friday help the lads out and try and make the place better and try and improve the professionalism. And it's quite small-minded at the moment, Carlisle, and obviously the new manager Simo's come in and he's trying to change that and trying to get it back to where he had got the club years ago.
Yeah, I mean he's been great since he came in. He's like massive in that community and stuff like that. So yeah, it's class to be part of Carlisle at the moment. I'm in League One now, which is that's class for them. I wasn't expecting a promotion from them, but Hey, it is what it is.
Yeah,
Happy
exactly.
days.
Right, favourite goalkeeper kit colour?
Oh, I'd always go black.
Yeah.
I like a black. I like matching my gloves and like boots and kit, and I like to go like black boots.
Yeah.
So I like the matching combo.
Yeah,
so,
nice.
Yeah,
I love it. I'm a boot and glove combo. It has to be done.
Definitely.
Yeah. What's the favourite stadium you've played at?
Oh, that's a great question. Oh, I should have thought about this before I came here. I couldn't tell you, to be honest. Give me like, if you give me like 5 minutes,
yeah,
I
I'll
could
come
probably
back
get it.
to it. Right,
Get
so
it.
who's your favourite ever goalkeeper? You don't have to say me. 'cause
Honestly,
you-
honestly, I know he's quite recent. I'm not going to go like historic. I mean, I'm only young. I want to say Jordan Pickford.
Yeah.
I mean, I model like a lot of my style about him, like
Yep.
the way I act, the way I act on the pitch, and like and the way I like play football. I very much like idolise him as in regards to like the playing with his feet, the
Strong Northern lad.
the very if similar to me really in it. Very loud,
Yep.
very like boisterous. He's quite cocky, and so I can relate to
That's
that. I like
nice,
it.
that though. Right, movie or box set?
Movie.
Yeah. Right, World Cup or Champions League?
Got to be World Cup. Got to
Yeah,
be.
Has to be, doesn't it? How tall are you?
I'm exactly 6 foot.
Nice.
It's a little bit small for a goalkeeper, but I mean,
Well, like you
it's-
said, you're playing a slightly smaller
it's
goal anyway.
smaller net. So I mean, I'm still not tall by any standards. Not like yourself.
Yeah.
But I've got no problems in this. You're not going to get chipped and
Yeah.
the things like that.
Right,
I definitely don't.
Tea or coffee?
I'll go tea. I'm not a massive drinker, but I'll go tea.
Right, and then finally, right, it's the last minute of a game. You can save the penalty to win the game, or you
Yeah.
can score a goal.
I'm going to say save the penalty.
Oh, yeah.
The absolute scenes. I know you can say like, oh, goalkeeper's got a penalty is unreal, but I think the atmosphere, like you've seen it, like it's unbelievable. Like especially when no one expects you to make the save.
Yep.
Like everyone erupts, fans erupt, players erupt. It's unreal.
Yeah, nice. Right, I'm going to kick this off with I normally go back to the very start. Then,
Yeah.
right. So, when did you first play in goal, and
Yeah.
what was it that just drew you right in?
Yeah. So obviously I played mainstream for ages. I played mainstream like since as soon as you can like get into a team and kick balls for about like 5 or 6, isn't it?
So, that's like Sunday league team or little leagues and
yeah,
stuff
of
like that,
course.
and training sessions.
Yeah, like I started going like I was always 1-to-1. I always always had like an extra coach on top, just like I was part of like a footballing family. So I mean, like they always wanted like an extra training session or like another way to play football. So I'd always train with a team, have another coach, and then about by the age of 9, I got offered the chance to go train with England, which came about for I was just at a football camp with like in the summer holidays and just playing football with Carlisle United, and then I got referred through the Cumberland FA, a woman called Jess, which I can't forget because I mean she started the story. Then I got referred to the England programme and I went train with them when I was like 9-year-old. And I've been there ever
That's
since,
amazing,
really. Yeah.
really. Like, obviously, from 9 years old, you got
Yeah.
into that system, and to have developed over the last 10 years
Yeah.
and the coaching, the opportunities that you've
Yeah.
gone on to have. Massive thanks to Jeff.
Yeah, I know. I mean, there's always going to be that person that's got to push the first
Yeah.
step, got to make the first phone call. And I mean, that's a person that did it for me. So I've kind of got to give my career to it.
Yep. Like you said, you've loved playing outfield and that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
What was it about being a goalkeeper that you was like, you know what?
I think you've always got a bit of a screw loose. Everyone says it. I mean, like, no one can say, like, oh, let's just jump in there and everyone kick a ball against me. You've got to have a little bit of a screw loose. But I don't know. There was just something instantly when I got into it and I realised I was a bit above average, I'll say. And I was like, you know what, I could proper kick on here.
Yeah.
And I like it. And I mean, like, with the opportunity to represent England in that, I was like, that's me. Like, I'm all here for it. I'll put everything towards, like, working towards that goal.
See, at 9 years old, I can't imagine ever getting an England call up.
Yeah.
What was you feeling at that time?
Honestly, I didn't know what to think on. My dad sorted it more than I did. He just said, like, oh, we've got, like, a training session. We're down in Lancashire, like, Leyland. And I was like, yeah, no problem. I mean, I wasn't used to, like, the big travels by then. It was more like, oh, I'm not going to last in his car journey, like, stuff like that. And then, but, like, once I got the chance, like, I'm representing England here, I watched, like, the men's play. And then it was my training session afterwards. And I was like, whoa, like, this is pretty cool. And then from there, I mean, at 9-year-old, I didn't think I really, like, appreciate the position I was in. But obviously, years later, I mean, the opportunities came about it. So, yeah, it's class.
Yeah, no, obviously, like, at 9 years old, there wouldn't have been loads of other players your age group.
Yeah, no.
Was it like a very mixed age group?
Yeah, oh, definitely. It was more like branches like under 16s. I think everyone was similar to my age, but it wasn't even a big session. Like in regards to like amputee football, you're getting like, normally you'd maybe get like, say under 10s, you'd maybe get like, in your academy, you get like maybe like 15, 16.
Yeah.
That amputee session, like, it was on like the very 10 years ago now. I think maybe like six at a session, which obviously you'd say a smaller
Small group,
team and
yeah.
that, but at that point you think like, oh, that's not great numbers, but
That's also
from there.
unbelievably good though from the English FA that they try and bed you in really early.
Well, we're absolutely no affiliation to the English
Are
FA.
you not? No.
No, see how we've got a different badge?
Oh, of course you have,
Because
yeah.
we don't receive any funding from the FA.
Amazing.
Not even a penny. So all the money that like England have got to like take is through sponsors. So like we're heavily sponsor reliant. It's got to be like small businesses, like large businesses come across and sponsor stuff. 'Cause, I mean, it's a registered charity.
Yep.
So when you're representing England, you think, wow, they must be paying loads. I mean, like if you look at like when like Sterling makes an appearance for England, he gets like his England fee, doesn't he? But with us, like you can't pay. As in like the FA is not involved with us, so it's just heavily sponsor reliant. So everything's going to come through like us or.
Do you think that there's room for that to change?
I mean, they've came about in the past few years. I mean, with the sport like rapidly developing. I mean, it's everywhere. Like it's I'm pretty sure it's like the top disability sport in England, which is quite a great title to have.
Amazing.
But the offer they gave towards it was really like a blanket offer that wasn't really like specific towards our needs. Not very like understanding of how big our program is. So I think that's went away for now. But I mean, they're more than open to it in the next coming years. But it's got to be an offer that appreciates what we've done.
Yep. So obviously you're saying the sponsorship sort of like that must be obviously the be all and end all for the sport and heavy reliant on that. And without them, you wouldn't have been able to do the opportunities that you have had, and the sport in general wouldn't have grown without the small businesses backing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like a family like sort of like environment where like this isn't going to get done if this doesn't get done. Like you can't just say, oh, like we'll pluck this amount of money from the FA, or like we've got all these like receipts to like we'll pay for this, absolutely no problem. Whereas it's got to be like, oh, they've donated like maybe like 30,000 towards you, or like 50k to try to support your journey, which is like incredible. So like any sort of donations or like sponsorship that we can get towards a team, like it really does go a long way, and it's not just one of your big group of sponsors. Like you'll see like sometimes on like match days sponsors, you get like there's like loads, whereas ours there's not as many. So like it's all like very like one big family in regards.
Yep. And how often were you joining up with England?
So we'll do with the national team. Nowadays we'll do maybe like once, twice a month, which will be like a full weekend. I mean, I'm there this weekend. So we'll do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you'll leave, and then you'll go back. You'll have like obviously your domestic leagues. You'll obviously be training away from the program. You've got like England programs to give you like strength conditioning coaches, nutrition, etc. So it's like in regards, you'll say it's like a charity, but like it's a very professional setup in regards.
Sounds incredible.
There's everything there that the professional level would have.
Yep. And obviously, when you're coming through at that age, are you signed to a team? Are there a lot of teams up and down the UK? As someone that's quite naive to it all.
Yeah, not so many as in regards to like you'd say as a professional club, like you're never normally like an hour or two away from like a professional club, no matter what level it is. But there's not many. So there's it's always up and down as in like programs are introduced and stuff. Like I mean, I started my career off at Newcastle, and I made my debut when I was like 15 in the league, which was class. And I mean, they gave me the platform to play and like get me involved in the England setup. And then I went to Portsmouth, which I still like semi-play. I mean, I'm playing the Champions League soon in Portsmouth. So I mean, there's many teams. You've got like your Evertons, there was Man City's, Arsenal's, Chelsea, Brighton, West Brom. I mean, there's loads of big teams, even like your small teams like your Peterboroughs and stuff like that. But like obviously programs come and go, and like there's obviously you can't get just pluck like 10 amputees from like a random area. You've got to have like a bit of interest, got to have a bit of like ability about you. So
and it's a lot of travelling involved. That people wouldn't realise. Like you're saying, Portsmouth, for instance.
Yeah, I know.
You being based in Carlisle,
I couldn't get any further away, really.
No, exactly. So the commitments that you have to make and give up, and your own personal life must have taken a little bit of a suffering. But for the love of the sport, that you're so invested in it. Like how hard is it, that aspect?
Yeah. Especially when like I'm so young. Like I mean, I'm 19 and I've still got like I'm trying to pursue like a professional career. Well, still have like a childhood, really, isn't it? I know I'm probably out of that stage now, but like obviously you're socialising, like, oh, your mates are going out, and like, oh, sorry, I can't. I'm playing like with England, or like I'm training, like I've got a match day or something like that. Like there's a lot of sacrifices you've got to make, but I mean, like to get to a point where like you can say like, oh, I've won this, like I've got these. I mean, the sacrifices you've got to make, isn't it? You've got to really do it.
Yeah, and like I said, the sport's growing, and the teams that you've already said. Do you find that the transfers are strange? Obviously, I'm going to lead on to how you get into play into Poland. But like, are you moving clubs constantly? Is it because of location, the size of the club, the support that you get?
Yeah. Obviously it depends. Like some people move very often. Like some people might even like stay like one club a season. But I mean, I'm probably one of the people that I'll play for where I'm needed, wherever can benefit me. I mean, Portsmouth gave me the opportunity to play like Premiership football. Gave me the opportunity to like play on national television, like play with like the England players, play against the best people like week in, week out. So there's a bit of moving about, but obviously you get like international moves now, which is like that's the major one, and that's what I've recently came upon.
Yeah, obviously, let's go on to signing in Poland for Legia Warsaw. Like that is just in itself is unbelievable. Don't even like obviously I would have loved to have played abroad in my career, and like I've had a few offers, but they're not realistic. So like for you to actually go and do it at 19 years old is actually mental.
Yeah, I know. It was never something that I would have thought about. I always thought like, oh, I want to play for the biggest clubs in England. But then this offer came about. I mean, when we recently played at the Nations League, which we won, and I got goalkeeper of the tournament. And then it came off the back of that. I mean, it was hosted in Warsaw, in Poland. So that came off of that. They said like, oh, there's like opportunities you like might be able to go playing for Legia Warsaw. And I was like, I think so. Like there wasn't something that's mentally like holding me back. And I thought, you know, I might as well. I'm still young. I don't have like my commitments of like I don't have a family to pay for. I don't have my children to look after. I don't have my house mortgage, stuff like that. I thought if there's a perfect time to do it, I might as well do it now. And I've loved every minute of it over there. It was class.
What's the standard like out there compared to in England?
See, in England, it's a lot of like you'll play against a lot of like English players. So it's a lot of like you'll play the similar players. You'll know how they play. You play with them all at the international level. Whereas over there, you're like, I mean, on my team, there's like loads of like Moroccans, Spanish, Polish, Germans. I mean, it's very international. So you'd say like the levels are higher. In my opinion, as in you get something new. Like you won't be facing the same team. You won't know how this guy plays. I mean, you learn the patterns of play off like your players you're playing week in, week out. Whereas over there, it's something brand new. It's like a new setup. I'm adapting to the change all the time. I've never played against these guys before, so it's a challenge. But I'm really enjoying it.
Is that their scouting system's better, or is it just that they pick people up at all the major tournaments and stuff like that? And
it's probably like the major tournament. I mean, it's very well funded in Poland. I mean, it's professional. Like it's fully paid sport, and like in Turkey, so like they have the chance to go like, oh, we'll take an English player, or we'll like this guy. We've watched his clips. He's pretty good. So I think it's just the fact that they have the facilities to be able to do stuff like that instead of in England, like, or do you want to come play for us? Not like, oh, we'll give you the money to come play for us, or we'll give you the like facilities to come play for us. Where in England, it's like, oh, if you fancy it, sort of vibes.
What's the logistics like for you playing in Poland? Because I know we've been speaking for a couple of weeks now, and trying to work out a date for you to come in, and you'll be like, oh, I'm flying out this day, and I'm not in the country that day.
Yeah, there's a lot of travel. Like I said, I'm regularly based in Carlisle. It just means I've got to do a lot of traveling. There's a lot of like coming back, leaving early, coming back very late at night, missing like large chunks of the weeks. But I mean, once again, some things you got to sacrifice. But I don't mind the travel. Like honestly, I don't. I've been doing it since I was very young, as in like playing for teams that aren't very close. So I came like the car was like
probably
my second
easier
home.
to get to Poland than it is to Portsmouth.
Honestly, it is. It takes way less time. Like you'll go from like Manchester. It's like 2-hour trip to like Warsaw, and then boom, I'm there. Whereas like 9 hours to Portsmouth, I was like, rather not. No.
So obviously you're flying out to Poland, for a game training. How long are you out there for?
Like 4 days, 5 days.
Right, okay.
But I mean, I've only recently went over there, and you don't really play during the winter, so I'm in England for now.
Yeah.
Because it's like mega cold over there. You get like sub-zero. Like I thought Carlisle was cold, but over there it gets way colder. So I'll go back out there in like January, February time, and then be back out there for like the chunk of the season.
And then your season is how long?
I think the Polish season, I mean, it's my first season involved, so I think it's about 8-9 months. It's very much like a summer sport over there, which probably makes sense. You don't have them like freezing nights and like your cold rainy night in Stoke. You don't quite have that. So it's all right. I mean, 8-9 months, it's a nice season to have. It's not like a full year, so we'll take that.
Obviously, you've only just moved then, so it's a new experience. You're clearly really excited about it. It must be so. It's daunting a little bit. Is there a little bit of nerves, or is it just pure like this is what an opportunity this is?
I was mega excited. Like I thought, like I can't wait. And then like we met with like some of the staff, and like they gave us all our tops and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm proper getting into it. Like I'm proper excited. But then from that, I was thinking like, I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous, and like. We got there and was like, none of them spoke like a lick of English to start with, and we're like, oh, this is going to be a long time. We had our translator, and they were like, they'd say a joke, and then like 10 seconds later we'd hear it, and then we'd have to laugh. So like you get a bit of lag, and then you start getting a bit like it's just like the Polish guys and the English guys there, which was hard to start with, but after we got playing, and like, after we started playing well, especially, that's when you can all start being part of a team. And it's very much like a team environment. I don't feel like I'm just like an outcast, as in like I'm just the English lad that doesn't speak a word of Polish.
Yeah.
It's very much like a team environment now, so there's nothing to be nervous about anymore.
How long have you signed for?
I only signed in maybe June, July.
But what's your contract length?
18 months.
18 months.
So,
are you planning to learn any of the language?
Yeah, I mean, I've started getting on board. I mean,
Have you?
they'll teach me a little bit. I mean, they might just sometimes they just teach me the wrong words. I mean, they'll just say like I was going about once just saying like completely the wrong thing, and everyone was just laughing at us. Like I wanted to say one of the physios handed me a water, and instead of saying thank you, I said hello, which made no sense. So it was interesting, but I mean, it's a really hard language to learn.
I can
I mean,
imagine.
like Spanish, you get taught in like skills and that, and like French, you get taught in skills like when you're young. But Polish, I mean, you won't have a clue. Like if I told you to speak a bit of Polish, would you?
No, not a chance.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know where
I was
to
the exact
start
same.
either.
Yeah, I was the exact same. It's a lot of like ch and v and z, like a lot of them sounds which aren't really common in English language. So
Yeah.
it's a hard effort.
So even like now that you're back in England and that, are you still trying to work out like pass, block shots?
Yeah.
Are you trying to work out left and right, like
Yeah.
so that you can then talk to your defenders?
Yeah, I mean, their English is like okay to a decent standard. Their English is better than my Polish.
Yes.
So like I can have a decent conversation. It's very like broken English.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's on me to like learn to be able to communicate with them better. I mean, it's going to help my performance. It's going to help them as well. So I'm trying to get the grips of it. I'll do like maybe like a session every 2 weeks. That's me at the moment.
Yep.
Until I go back over there, and hopefully this can help me out. But it just goes out of my brain like that.
Yeah.
So.
Right, as we've said, right, so it's a huge honour to represent your country. You made your debut at just 17 years old in the European Championships in Greece.
Yeah.
Lucky enough, you've brought one of your caps in from Turkey as well. You went on to win goalie of the tournament. Like, it's a whirlwind. You've had quite an introduction, isn't it?
Yeah.
In a very short amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, I've had quite a very like exciting career. I mean, there hasn't been like I haven't went through like a very long period. Like you go for like a long period of like, especially like you're a young player, like being like number 3, number 2, and then like you eventually get a chance to be number 1. I haven't been fast tracked by any format. Like I've had like you obviously have to go through your tournaments. You have to accept you being number 2. You're the young lad. You've got to gain experience. Really, everyone's got to go through that stage. And then obviously I've got my chance to like go be like starting for England. And I mean, I don't always start, like I don't. But like recently I've get a lot more starts than like I've had in the past. And I mean, I've reaped the rewards really. I mean, we've got the results to show for it.
Yeah, no, obviously winning, you can say it, but England won their first trophy in 30 years. And you were obviously in the team that did that. Like, that's an incredible achievement. You probably don't realise.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first major trophy in 30 years. I mean, the last time we won, I wasn't even alive,
exactly.
which is incredible. So like, I was so proud to win. I mean, like even the way we done it. I mean, on foreign turf, we're against Turkey in the first game. No one had beat Turkey in open play since 2018.
Wow.
They're like fully funded, amazing like facilities over there, fully paid professionals. Like when someone's paying to play amputee football, someone's got all the facilities available. That's their full-time job versus someone that's like, it's just like a pastime, like a hobby. And you can imagine it's very hard.
It's very difficult.
So we went and beat them 1-0, and it was the first clean sheet that anyone ever had against them since 2014. And I mean, I was that guy in net. So I mean, that was incredible. I had a really good game as well. So beating them was unreal. Then we beat the host Poland 2-1. Then in the final game, we beat Spain 1-0. I mean, the scenes were incredible because we were definitely the underdogs. I mean, we were probably like the third favourites going to the tournament. So, I mean, it was unbelievable.
Yep. What was the celebrations like?
Oh, don't get me started. No, because it's not great. Obviously, you get all your changing room, like everyone's going mad and stuff like that. But like, we're not allowed to drink, like over there. So we were like, we'll have a beer in the change room, something like that.
Yeah.
But like, they just didn't let us. And I mean, they're gonna kill me for saying this online. But no, we weren't best played for that. But hopefully now that we've got that tournament experience, we now knows what it's like to win. They can trust us. So. We'll see what it's like in the future.
Did they not throw you a party when you got back and stuff like that?
Yeah. To be fair, I'll give them that. When we got back, we had a celebration.
Yeah.
Like on our turf, on our rules. We're not in a foreign country anymore, so I kind of get them in that regards. But well, some of us were a bit gutted then.
See, like we're saying about winning the first trophy for the amputee, right, in 30 years. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's like, and we're saying about the involvement and non-involvement of the FA. Mm-hmm. It must have been a really good achievement to just feel like you stuck it in their face a little bit.
Proper major. I mean, I think we don't feel like a chip on your shoulder, but like when you get an achievement like that, and then you feel like, you know what, we did this without you.
Yep.
I mean, it'd be amazing. Like we we need the funding, like we'll want them on board. But I
Yeah.
mean, like to know that we can do it by ourselves, I mean that feels class. I mean,
Yeah.
like you don't have to be self-reliant. You've got the facility to go get these major trophies. You can do it. Like we've shown that we've got a winning squad without having all these major sponsors, without being like fully paid pros.
Yep, and obviously, like I was saying, to just put it in their face, but it must have made them almost have a look at it and go, tell you what, imagine what they could do if we helped them a bit more.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if we can win the tournament against the best teams in the world and do it without their support, imagine what we could do with it. I mean, the facilities. I mean, like even the engagement we could get off like growing the sport. It could be incredible. I mean, there's no way to even see what level it could get to, but it could only be exciting, really.
So going out to Poland and to
Yeah.
Turkey and Greece, and you're saying that other like leagues are professional and there's a lot more investment in them. Does it make you like go, oh, I want to experience more of that?
Yeah.
Like, do you want to, obviously, but would you like to also help bring that back to England and
Yeah.
see the English league transform?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd love to like have the experience that I have in Poland, in England.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd always be the dream. As in, like you get like your local teams and your clubs that like your mates support. You're playing for them. I just can imagine that'd be something that you
Amazing,
can
yeah.
really be proud of.
Yeah.
But obviously, if it's not currently in England, it's not currently there. I'm not going to wait around and like waste my career away.
Yeah.
I might as well go explore these opportunities that are abroad. And I mean, whether they're in Turkey or Poland, I mean, I'm all on board for it. I mean, whatever I've got to do to get the best out of my career or
Yep.
not waste it. I don't want to look back in 20, 30 years and think, oh, I could have done this. Like, I've missed an opportunity to do something there. I might as well just do everything I can now.
No, that's amazing. And it's really refreshing at 19 years old that
Yeah.
you're actually willing to do that. Most, obviously, 19-year-olds will be thinking about their mates and about college and uni. But like you're going, no, I've got a goal. This is what I want to do. I've set my own personal goals. I'm going to go out and achieve them.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. Like, I'll always like want to have time with my mates. I'll always want to be, what we're doing tonight, lads, what we're doing this. But it's not always available. I mean, there's always stuff you've got to do important. Like, you've always got to train. You've always got to have your team meetings, your calls with your physio, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So realistically, it's your work-life balance, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and like levels of professionalism. You still got
exactly.
to have them.
Yeah, exactly. So I can't just go out and like get drunk with like the lads or something. Like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Not when I'm trying to achieve these like major goals. Not when I'm trying to like go win another trophy. Not when I'm trying to get England to the best we can be. Not when I'm trying to like win Champions League, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the sacrifices you've got to make. But I mean, I'm willing to make them at this point.
Proof's in the pudding, isn't it?
Exactly that. When you get stuff to prove that your process is working,
Yeah.
that you're on the right path. I mean, it's very refreshing to know that this is one of the ways or something like that.
But when you started playing football at 6, 7, 8 years
Yeah.
old, like obviously you would never have even dreamt it. But when
Absolutely
did
not,
that goal become a reality? Or was it at 9 years old when you first got your call up, or was it a few years down the line? And
Honestly, it was just playing because I loved it.
Yeah.
Like at that point, I mean, it still always is that. Like that's always the goal. You're playing football because you like the sport. You're not just playing because the opportunity is there. You've got a contract to play.
Yeah.
But it was only really about when I got to like the under-21s program, and I was like we were playing in like the tournament stuff like that. I thought like I could go on and like represent England properly. I mean, like whatever like where that is, whether I'm just like a number 2, whether I'm like on the edge of the squad, or maybe I can push on and be the number 1. But I mean, the journey's only really starting now. I mean, like most people don't normally break into the first team by 19. So I mean, to have 18 caps by now, I'm very happy with that.
that's
So
what I mean. But you could still be picking up like under 18, under 19s, under
Yeah, of
20s,
course.
under 21s.
Of course.
Like obviously, if the goalkeepers below you in age group, they've
Yeah.
probably set their sights on achieving what you've achieved.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
Like, do you ever look at them and think, "Oh, that's my age group. Like, how far ahead am I?" Or I've got to be on my toes. I've got to work harder because they're going to be pushing me soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, especially with like our England program, we've got absolutely no problem with putting like the young players with the England squad. I mean, we've got a current lad training with the England squad, just like 16, which is like it just shows like if you're good enough, you're old enough.
Yep.
And then you can obviously gain experience with other people. I mean, I was very young when I started training with the squad, but obviously the opportunity arises. There's always going to be someone younger than you that's always pushing to be in the shoes that you're in. So it just shows you've got to work hard. I mean, I don't know when the next person's going to come across a good challenge for my place, but I'm always there for the challenge. So
That's the way it should be, though. You
absolutely.
should thrive off the challenge, and you should embrace it almost. It'll make you better and make them better.
Definitely makes you better. Like you're like a number 1 battler and number 2. Whether you've got a battle for it, whether there's even a clear number 1 or a clear number 2, it's always going to make you run better. I mean, I've got a lad at England called Kieran Lamborn. He was number 1 when I first got involved, and now we're like neck and neck really. But I mean, I've learned so much off him, and I mean, I hope so. He's learned a lot off me. But I mean, like me not being able to like walk into that team and being the number one, or him not being able to just walk in that team and being the number one. I can imagine it's really helped us both across our career.
Oh, brilliant. Right, I've got our quiz now.
Right,
I
here
was
we
filling
go.
you in
Yeah.
before. Huge shout out to Forged Irish Stout for being part of this podcast. Listen to that beauty. An unbelievably smooth, creamy stout by Conor McGregor, the UFC legend. Not here to take part, but here to take over. Forged Irish Stout is on a mission to become the biggest Irish stout. Conor McGregor has taken over the whiskey game. Now he's about to take over the stout game. Me and my guests will be enjoying a few cans in the next few episodes. If you fancy checking it out too, make sure you hit the description below and find out where you can get Forged Irish Stout. Forged Irish Stout will be available in Asda nationwide come August. Let's get back to the podcast. So I'm going to go on to goalie or no goalie. It's 1 point for each correct answer. And I've got 5 international goalkeepers and 5 random names from... I normally do it off who you follow on social media or a bit of background I've done on you. So, you ready to start?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Bit nervous, aren't you?
I'm curious. That's what it is.
That's the way you're putting it, right?
Yeah.
Right, so number 1, Yunling Yang.
I'm going to say goalie.
He is a goalkeeper. He is the China and Shanghai Port goalkeeper.
Good, really good.
Yunling Yan. My pronunciation's terrible. And
No, I think you've bossed that, honestly. I think you've bossed it.
Right, number 2, Robert Ozels.
Not a goalkeeper.
He is a goalkeeper.
Oh.
He is the Latvia goalkeeper and Aldo Riga.
Respect to him.
Yeah, looks tough guy. Him.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with him. He looks like a bouncer.
Yeah, he does, yeah. Tough. Right, number 3, Olanjide Olatunji.
Not a goalkeeper.
He's not a goal. You know that name,
Is that
don't you?
KSI?
That's KSI. Yeah, lovely.
I'm young enough. You can't get
exactly.
that one on me. I'm young enough for that.
I've actually, for all of yours, done it for your era. I've done all like YouTube, Twitch, and gamers.
Love that. Love that.
So this is
right,
a little bit of background on yours. Right, number 4, Zander Clark.
Xander Clark's not a goalkeeper.
He is a goalkeeper for Scotland and Hearts.
Oh, respect him. I rate that beard, by the way.
Yeah, it's big beard. He was at St Johnstone with one of my fellow goalkeeper coaches that I used to work with, Paul Mathers. Speak really well of him.
Good lad.
Yeah, he's... Right,
take that on the chin.
2 out of 10. 2 out of 4 so far. Right, number 5, James Donaldson.
I've heard that name before. That's a goalkeeper.
He is not a goalkeeper.
Oh, I'm having him there.
He is Mr. Beast.
Oh, Jimmy. Oh, I know it's Jimmy.
Jimmy,
yeah. Oh, he's known his videos as Jimmy. But
real name, James.
Yeah, fair game.
Yeah,
fair game.
It's a bit of a trick, mate.
I've heard that it rang a bell.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was some sort of like local League One sort of goalkeeper, but
no, all of them. The non-goalkeepers are definitely non-goalkeepers.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not that mean. Right, number 6, Benjamin Bushell.
Benjamin Bushell's not a goalkeeper.
He is a goalkeeper.
Oh,
he is the Liechtenstein goalkeeper and Vaduz.
Fair game to him.
Yeah.
Fair game.
All the names are meant to throw you, mate. The game is a trick.
Right. Okay.
Right. Number 7, Morgan Birtwistle.
Not a goalkeeper.
Not a goalkeeper. He is not a goalkeeper. Go on.
Is it Moggs? No. Oh, it's big Angry Ginge, isn't it?
Angry Ginge.
What a character, by the way. What a character.
Too, you know.
Yeah. Have you seen him play?
Yeah.
Oh, he plays outfield as well. I rate that.
He loves a tackle, doesn't he?
I'll watch him like TikTok and stuff like that. You get his little clips in. He's a very funny guy.
Yeah, I watch his reaction stuff.
Yeah.
Where he watches someone else do stuff and he's just in the background laughing. I think he's brilliant.
It's like United. Oh, it's funny that. Good lad.
Yeah. Right. Number 8, Darren Watkins Jr.
Darren Watkins Jr. I'm going to say not a goalkeeper.
He is not a goalkeeper. Do you want to have a guess who he is?
Couldn't tell you.
It's I Show Speed.
Is it? Oh, honestly, I just know him as Speed. I couldn't even tell you what his real name was.
Cristiano Ronaldo. Sweet.
Yeah. Did you see his charity game, by the way?
Yeah, oh, mate.
That was not a pinnacle of
When
football.
he's
That
giving
was
it to Clattenburg, the ref, mate.
Yeah.
That's the best bit.
You see the penalty as well.
Oh my God,
you can
it's
tell
the
he's
worst penalty in the
properly
world.
tell he's like absolutely bricking it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and they've even tried to get him a goal. Like, I think KSI's borderline gave him the ball to score. Just like, his reaction would have been amazing.
Imagine the fans' reaction as well.
Yeah, I know. I could tell he was borderline. I think he was in borderline tears when he missed that pen, but.
KSI just didn't really want to save it either.
Yeah,
It kind of hit him and went wide. It was.
Honestly, I don't even think he tried it. Just hit, like exactly like he hit him. He stood still.
Yeah. Are you big into YouTube?
Not so. I mean, I don't really have time to watch it. I don't really, if I'm got my spare time, I'll be on like Spotify or something like that. I'll scroll TikTok or something. You'll find like your little clip that'll make you laugh or something like that. I can scroll on there for ages.
Yeah.
As long as it's something funny, I can scroll for there for ages.
Nice. Right. So you're on 4 so far. Let's try and get you 2 more. Right. So number 9, Hassan Sunny.
That's a goalkeeper. I
He
don't
is
recognise
a
the name.
goalkeeper.
Yeah.
He is the Singapore goalkeeper at Albarax.
What's the normal score to get on these?
Yeah, it's like 6 or 7.
5,
It's
6.
just like it's all 50-50.
Right, we're going for above average then.
Right. So number 10, we're going to finish on Callum Whitworth.
Cal the Dragon.
That is Cal the Dragon.
Good,
I thought it'd throw you as
That's
well.
good.
Good, mate. 6 out of 10. You're happy with that? Got to be happy with that.
Oh, we started having a bit of meh, and I was thinking, I should have got these by now. That Mr. Beast one's threw me off. I'm not happy with that, but yeah, I'll take that above average.
6 out of 10's good, mate.
Have you seen Cal the Dragon play?
Yeah, I have.
What are your thoughts on this one then?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Obviously, it's all a bit. He thinks he's obviously a lot better
Yeah,
than he is, but I fully admire it that he just goes out, obviously, and
the
and
confidence
loves it.
is major, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
It was just like during the lockdown thing, we saw like, I'm better than Jordan Pickford. I was like,
That's the sort of thing
that's
that
very
obviously
controversial, but
makes
I mean,
it controversial. But then, like the stick that he received in the YouTube match was unnecessary.
I mean, I don't want to say it like without knowing. I believe he's on the spectrum to an
Yes,
extent.
he is,
so
yeah.
like there's loads of people commenting like stuff online without realizing, like without taking that in, without stepping back and realize, right, okay, he's a content creator, but he's a person as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, people find that hard to like understand as like to levels, but I mean, the confidence is unreal. I mean, he does stuff for clicks, and I mean, sometimes I can get a proper laugh out of
I'm
it.
the
Like,
same.
when like he's playing against like a garden bin or something like that, and I mean, like he's won like 7-0 and like celebrating. I was like, unreal. That's unreal. Like he's celebrating his garden by himself. I love it. I'm all on board for
his
it.
little fire emojis.
Yeah,
yeah. Like you've got to laugh at it. It's really good.
Gets something in his hair, and I mean, like whatever you do. But I mean, like I couldn't do it myself, so I admire your confidence.
Yeah. Right, well done on the quiz, but I want to crack straight on with some glove talk now.
Yeah.
I'm a proper glove geek, as you can tell.
Yeah.
So what gloves do you wear? I say gloves. Let's correct this term.
Glove, it's not plural,
Glove,
is it?
yeah.
We brought some pairs along just for a comparison, but yeah, I mean, amputee football, I don't need one glove, really. So, I mean, like, having a second glove on this arm would be fairly useless. I mean, there's no point. So, on to my gloves, I'm always an Adidas guy. We had, like, an exclusive deal with, like, you've got to be, like, Adidas, like, boots, Adidas gloves. So, like, okay, like, I've kind of, like, grew up with it now. And, like, even when we're not part of this, like, exclusive deal with Adidas, I still kind of tend to choose Adidas. It's what I know.
Yep.
But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I honestly, I think the latex on Adidas gloves, I just want to show people the comparison of the wear and tear. Obviously, a brand new glove.
Yeah,
never used.
have a guess which side I don't have.
Exactly, yeah. But, like, obviously, the pitches that you're playing on, is it AstroTurf mainly?
It depends where you're at, like, in the world. I mean, like, obviously, like, your high funding places tend to have, like, your perfect grass pitches. Whereas, like, in England, we tend to have more, like, your 4Gs and stuff like that. And we normally train on 4G, play on grass, which is maybe a little bit backwards, but I don't know. We do it in England there.
Because you're currently in the 1.0s, Adidas, right? And obviously their latex is the softest latex.
Yeah.
And that's what I wondered, obviously, if you play a lot on AstroTurf, because the 2.0s are a bit more harder wearing for AstroTurf and stuff like that.
These are 2.0s, huh? Yeah, these are the 2.0s.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just a mix and match, really. I prefer to, like, honestly, I'm not more of, like, this certain latex. I'm more of, like, always a fit. I'll always have something like, I like having something like high up my wrist. I like being like fully secure in my glove. So honestly, I'd more be more worried about the looks and the feel of it. Because if I bought the glove, if I use it, it's because I like it. So I've got absolutely no problem in wearing any of them.
Yep, and that's why you're, like you said, you stick to Adidas. It's what you know and love. I'm the same. I stick to Cells. I've done it my whole career. It's, I've got
mix and matching's a bit crazy, isn't it?
Exactly. Some keepers do like doing it, or they'll trial out gloves and white out a pair of gloves and try another brand. And obviously, you find ones that you are more suited to,
exactly.
different cut styles. Have you ever tinkered with Stuff like that.
Honestly, I've thought about it so many times. I've looked at it and like think like, oh, like let's have a look at that. I think I've more bought like I watched it. You use spines, don't you?
Yes.
I'm completely against it. I remember I did it when the start of my career because always your first pair of gloves always have a pair of spines and like you're Sondiko and stuff like that. I remember trying them and I thought what is going on? I like being fully moving around, have all my freedom. So I mean, as soon as I got to the point, I took spines. I was like, nah, never again. But is that what you did when you were growing up?
Yeah, I watched Edwin van der Sar and Shay Given, and they all wore spines. It was just a thing.
They were like classic nightclubs.
And then so I went for as I started playing myself in the first team, I stopped wearing spines. I would wear obviously just normal cells gloves, roll finger gloves, and I broke a couple of fingers and then started training again in finger saves, and I literally I can do the whole of pre-season in normal gloves, and then as soon as the season starts, my mindset will go back to what you know.
It's about time,
yeah. And so it's not down to finger strength. It's just I'm used to that.
Yeah,
it's just what I'm happiest in.
It's more important to be not just comfortable. You understand the glove. It's not something it's new. It's not something thinking oh, I don't know what's going to happen here. It's you might as well keep it regimented.
That's it, yeah.
Gloves is such an amazing, important part of your game, especially as a goalkeeper.
One of the biggest.
So there's no point in tinkering something for oh, this might be better. But if you're already performing at a high level in what you know, what's the point of changing it for a small chance?
Have you got any weird superstitions with your gloves?
Honestly, not even major. Yeah. I always have my gloves personalised. Jack was one of my close friends. He died, unfortunately, so I always have him on my gloves. Yep. Like I say, I'll always be there in big moments and stuff like that. So I like that touch. But in regards, I don't some people I used to know goalkeeper that absolutely soaks his glove. Before he'd go up for the game, he'd run his gloves under the tap and soak them. And it's I get moving proper glove. I couldn't get on board with him you do you. But have you seen anything that's outrageous?
There are some things we've talked on it on the show before about the Vaseline on.
Yeah, I saw that.
But it does work only in extremely wet conditions. It does ruin your gloves. But some keepers love really wet gloves. Some goalkeepers wear new gloves every day.
Yeah,
but I find that strange.
Privileged position. That
that is a privileged position. I'm not lucky enough to be like that, and I actually wouldn't like that.
Yeah, I know. I think once you get a feel of it. Once you get a feel of a glove, I feel like going back to a stiff. It's not exactly stiff to be fair, but I mean, you're fresh out the packet glove. The feel of the latex is always class. You always get a sticky latex on it. But then apart from that, I like getting your home of your glove. It starts to mould to your finger.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
I think that's a feeling that you can like.
Yeah, but then again, you use them for too long and they go baggy, or the latex isn't as good. So gloves do need to be changed. Have you ever thought about having them custom built to you to suit your specs?
I thought about it. I was getting custom boots, and I was thinking you know what, maybe it's about time to think about my hand as well, my one and only. Yeah. But honestly, I didn't think it never really crossed my mind. I thought for a maybe small time. I thought I looked around on the internet. I thought well, I might have a look at this, but nah, not again. Yourself?
No, I haven't actually had any custom specs. Well, obviously I have got the spines in and stuff like that. So every now and then, if I've got two bad fingers, I'll just wear them ones in, or I'll change how I wear them. But no, I like white boots, white gloves. I'm basic.
I'm very similar. White gloves, black boots.
Yep. I want to talk to you as well about your kit. Obviously, you're saying that your arm is tucked in.
Yeah.
Is that a custom kit then, that you have to have it tucked in, or?
I think originally it was, and I think for some other teams it is that. But ours is literally just. I have short sleeves with my goalie kit because I like having a skin underneath it, and then a short sleeve cap. I think it looks nice.
Yeah.
So it's very just a small sleeve, just tuck inside the shirt. Yeah. And there'll probably be a photo on the internet somewhere, on my Instagram or something like that. Where it's to be fair, you won't even notice it. It generally just looks like there's not a sleeve there. So aesthetically, it's not a problem.
But does that interfere with your body movements?
To start with, I trained with my arm just outside because that's what the balance. I thought that's normal. But then the rule came in and you got to be inside your shirt. Let's just keep it fair. Which I understand the rule, as in if someone loses their arm up here, I have an advantage over them. Yes. As in I've got an extra area. I've got an extra even to jump up on to make a recovery save. But I've adapted to it now, as in if I train for so long, I'm eventually gonna get used to it.
Yeah.
But to start with, very much so, as in especially your body position, you're thinking I'm losing if I'm going
a lot of range
right here, I'm losing all this range across my chest. So I mean, you've got to have a proper spring. It's I value my game more on agility, my speed, and maybe your camera saves. Some people say But that's like more my style, as in like very springy about the area and stuff like that. So it's something I've adapted to, and it's something I really model my game on, like your reaction, the cross you save, and like incorporating the fact that you're losing this room. But I mean, in amputee football, strikers know, like you go into that side, like they want that side. But I mean, they understand that goalkeepers can get there. Like,
Yeah.
it's, like if I asked you to take a penalty versus me, and I had one arm and no arm this side, you'd think, right, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna go that side. Easy penalty scored. But I mean, like I've adapted to that. I know.
can imagine, yeah.
I know this is a side that might be seen as a weakness, where I definitely would say like I've got absolutely no problem going that side, no problem going that side, no matter where it is. I've been more than comfortable to make a save there.
Do you also notice that though with the outfielders that are on crutches, that if they've got like if they're right legged,
Yeah.
do they have a preference in their shooting type?
Honestly, nah. I know I'm a big nerd on penalties. Like I'll watch a lot of penalties and
Love
say
that.
like it's like his run ups he's going here, like he's very short run up, he's very narrow, something like that. But you can kind of see it on the penalties as well, because if you can imagine like say you've lost your leg and you're trying to go outside the boot onto the other side, and I can see his run ups very straight. Because like the outside of the boot is quite an important shot in amputee football. I think he's definitely going to hit the outside of the foot here,
Yeah.
but he's not going to go outside the foot back on himself. Not a chance. So I'm pretty confident that he's going to go there. So I've got loads of stuff at home where like even like before games I'll have a little look, and I know this guy goes there. If he goes penalty, I know exactly where he goes.
Yeah.
So
And so you'll be studying like the analysis side
Yeah.
of it if he's got a preference of
Yeah,
how they shoot. And
yeah.
because that's what I wonder. Obviously, I love studying penalties, and I do look at like the way that a penalty taker plants his foot.
Yeah.
Because if they plant their foot in a certain way, it normally points to where they're kicking,
Yeah,
or
of course.
the way they throw their arm. Is that sort of thing that you can break down and go,
Yeah.
if their crutches are in a certain position,
Yeah,
their body is closed,
yeah,
they can only shoot that way.
Absolutely. I mean, like if someone's crutches are facing this way, the chance of them having the ability to then put it this way,
Yep.
it's on them. Like that's a much harder shot for them to deliver, especially if someone's looking like they're nervous or it's like a high stakes situation. The chance of them wrapping it back on themselves with a harder technique's not great. So I'll take my chances. I'll go this side if that's what it's going to be. But there's loads of things you can do every time. Like if you see a big straight run up, you're thinking, I'm just going to wait. I'll wait around. Or if he does a really short run up, I was like, I'll stand on my feet and I'm going to wait for this guy.
Yeah.
But I'd always back myself on a penalty.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we've had many penalty shootouts, and I think in my career, I think I've only lost one, which is an FA Cup final, but we won't speak about that.
Have you taken a pen? Can you take pens?
No. So goalkeepers aren't actually allowed to leave the area, even though I would absolutely back myself on a penalty.
Yep.
But nah, but I still favour myself in the penalty situation. If someone asked me to take a pen, I would slot that.
Yeah, because obviously, like you're saying, that you look up
Yeah.
to Jordan Pickford, who
Yeah.
is actually really good on pens.
Yeah, I know.
I think, but like you say about his mentality is
Yeah.
he'll try and get in people's heads, and
Yeah, exactly.
and he does a lot of studying. Obviously, Martin Margaretson, the goalie coach at England's got him to have the on the
Yeah.
bottle the
Yeah,
names and
You saw it recently in the Liverpool game. Did you watch it?
Yeah,
He's got it fully on his side,
Yeah.
like fully printed. I think a bit risky that. If I was like one of the players, like the ball boys, you think like get that away. I won't be a fan of that, but well, it is what it is.
You also, I think now that teams will start going against that now because they
Yeah.
know that he's studying them. He's got them written down in his goal, and if you know that Mo Salah goes 8 times to his left and he's never been to his right, the first thing I'd do is like, as a goalie, you're thinking it's got to go that way. Then.
Yeah.
But if you're Mo Salah, you change
Exactly.
direction.
But then you've got to mesh in it, like he normally goes that side. That's his side.
Yeah.
Maybe practice it. Maybe have that for like 6-7 years that you always go that side. Then
Always.
through your research on like you showing that you know where he goes, you've had to change his regiment, you've had to change his system, which is
You've got in their head
massive
of it.
benefit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, and also I think that you would know in that moment if you've watched enough of their penalties to go, their run up's different now.
Yeah.
And you could like last minute just have that quick change and go, tell you what, I'm going to edge my bets.
It's very much penalties are always in favour of the attacker.
Yeah, they
I mean, if you make a save, it's unreal. But like if you don't make a save, as much as like a goalkeeper, you think like, oh, I could have saved that.
Yeah.
But you're not always in the favour. But if there's anything you can do to slightly lean the odds more in your favour, you're all here for it, aren't you?
Yep. Right, and I want to go on to some training stuff now.
Yeah.
And obviously, training must be heavily adapted to suit you. And
I guess,
the scenarios that you find yourself in.
Yeah.
Do you obviously using your other arm?
Yeah.
Like getting up off the ground when it's strapped into your shirt. Do you still find that you use it?
Obviously, you can try. Like I think I'm a little bit of a bad for it, as in like when I'm, like the quick reaction saving the balls, like there's bodies about, like I'll maybe like might lean down on my elbow,
Yeah.
but I mean like traditionally not allowed to.
Yeah.
It's got to be like a lot of like leg work. Like if you look at me, like I'll jump up really quickly.
Yeah.
It's not instead of like a scramble upwards or like shift to the other side. I'll like work like leg work, like flip back upwards, or like I'll use like my fist to like get back up. I don't want to
Yeah.
like damage to latex on my thing. But yeah, it's a lot of like different ways. And like you would normally just traditionally, what would you do? Like two hand plant or like maybe one?
Plant two hands, or you do the spin.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, me, I'd say I need to keep this hand free at all times. And I'm going to make saves with this, so I need to try using my legs. Can I get my one of my feet underneath me and push me away? And that sort of thing. So there's definitely stuff you got to train to adapt for obviously not being able to do a certain technique.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that obviously I find really fascinating is the way that you probably get used to making more spread blocks.
Yeah.
And obviously it's one hand save, but there'll be like no crosses in a game.
Yeah, and especially the leg saves. I'm big on my leg saves. I'll always say like if I can make it out of my leg, I'm going to make it out of my leg. Like I think my goalie coach always says like, why do you do so many leg saves? And I was like, but it works. Like it always works.
Yeah.
Especially because I've got a prosthetic leg. If I make a leg save, it's going. Like it's pretty much a clearance.
Yeah.
Like the ball gets blasted in, and like I'm making a leg save to the halfway line. But it's class. Like it looks like I've cleared a ball.
Yeah.
Like we had one recently in a League Cup final against Everton, and like a shot came in, and I've stepped out and made a leg save, and it went to the other keeper. I mean, that's unreal. I've made a clearance with my leg as a save.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's disadvantages and advantages, but I mean, I've used my prosthetic leg to have done real advantage over someone.
No, exactly that, and that's one of the things that I'm really fascinated is how you train for that. But like a normal day warm up for me would we do a bit of handling.
Yeah.
But yours is totally like straight into shot stopping and agility work and diving and.
Yeah, we do a little bit like we tend to do like your short passing, then we'll build the range out a bit more, and then straight into like your handling and stuff like that, and then we'll like normally get the first team in, get involved, maybe the subs involved, get the shot stopping. But obviously, you as a goalkeeper, going to get one. People like realistically, well, England are a good team, so we're not going to get absolutely peppered during a game. We're not going to get like 20 shots against us. So realistically, you've just got to be adapting, ready for that. Like maybe 3-4 opportunities that come around it. For that you're switched on and make them saves.
And how critical are you of yourself as a goalkeeper?
I think you can always be yourself's number one fan, and you're always going to be yourself's number one critic. And I'll definitely say I'm both. I'll always back myself in any situation, but if something goes wrong, I'm the first to know that I could have done better. Especially when I hold myself to such a high standard, I know that if something's went in, I feel like I could have done better. I always know that. And there's recently there was I could see a goal in Poland, and I mean, the goal was unbelievable. The balls came into him, he's chested it and he bicycle kicked it on his crutches. Like, did you see the Puskás goal?
Yes.
It's very similar to that, but I'd say better personally. And I've made a save out the top corner, and I pushed it onto the bar, and then he just scored the rebound. But I'd say like if I leapt a little bit earlier, if I've got a stronger hand tag, there's no chance of a rebound.
But the fact that you've made a world class save,
exactly.
You're writing that bit off.
Exactly, but like, especially when it goes viral, like you'll see. Oh, I've seen this goal everywhere now. I'm absolutely sick of seeing it.
Yeah.
But
Scoreboard gone.
It is what it is. But especially when you see something, you're like, I'm overanalyzing it. You're like, I couldn't have done anything more. I can blame it on the defender, but like, you always know deep down if you've done something, or if you feel like you could have done better, you'll know. Yeah,
you've got so much enthusiasm for your goalkeeping, haven't you? You absolutely love it as well. Yeah, it's so good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got to enjoy football.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just like something that earns you money, or it's something like you say like to your pals that you do. You've got to enjoy the sport. I mean, you're getting up at stupid times to go travel to places and stuff like that.
To come on a podcast and talk about it and that.
Exactly. I mean, you've got to have a love for it, otherwise you're rapidly going to fall out of like enjoyment of the sport. I mean, it's not exactly the path you want to be on.
What do you see is next for you in your career? Obviously, you're trying to help grow the sport and you're developing your own skills. But at such a young age, at 19, you've got a very level head on your shoulders. So I can see that you're so passionate about the actual sport and making it work and making it grow. Yeah. And do you see yourself developing those skills and trying to help with those sort of things?
I like all these like media opportunities and like public speaking and stuff like that. So I mean, like any situation I can get myself into and like grow the sport, like even like grow myself. I mean, I'm all on board for it. In regards to like my football, like you want to win everything, don't you? Yeah. Like there's not a tournament that goes by that I don't want to win. I'm playing the Champions League next month in Malaga, and I mean, like I'll go into the exact same attitude to that. I mean, like if I'm playing it, I want to win it. Like you don't want to go in your career and think, I've won these amount of Premier Leagues, these amount of FA Cups, but I didn't get this. So if there's any opportunities I can get to win the trophies that I want to win, it's always what I'm going to go for.
No, I've even just chatting to you for briefly. I find you really inspirational, and obviously you've got a massive passion for it, like I said before. But like the way that you've adapted, you've made the most out of every situation that you do get, and you're open to new things. It's really refreshing.
Thank you. I think it is what it is. Like, I mean, I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and have two hands. It's just you've got to accept what you've got. Like the cards I've been dealt, I could just sit around and feel sorry for myself and not be able like the person I am, or I could go and make the most of it. I mean, there's people in worse situations than me, so I think you've all got to accept what position you're in. I'm quite lucky in regards. Obviously, I spoke about before. I didn't have the traumas, I didn't have the cancer, stuff like that. I could be much worse. So it's for me to sit around and not make the best of what I've got. It's just a waste of time, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I love that, mate. Right, and finally, right, I always ask and finish on this question, but what does the Goalkeepers Union mean to you?
The Goalkeepers Union, it's like a social aspect to me as well. It's not just like obviously making you better, but like there's so many situations you can relate to. As in, like, if I'm telling a striker what's going on, he won't have a clue in regards to goalkeeping. But if I'm telling the goalkeeper, he knows the crack. Like what was going out earlier than everyone else, so I can't even relate to that. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, the Goalkeepers Union is such an important part of like even like your internet as well. Like you get like you don't get a right back dedicated page there. You don't get a centre mid dedicated page, but you've also got your goalkeepers, all your goalkeeper content. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Speaking about content, just one more thing. You clearly love a little bit of like the content side.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about doing your own YouTube channel?
I'm honestly, it's something I'm thinking about at the moment. Especially like in the age of TikTok, and there's always like in the age of like you can get a comment anywhere. And obviously in disability sport, some people are going to take the nick in it. Yeah. Like you'll always get a comment on Amputee foot, it's like 1 second, like 0 star weak foot, something like that. I mean, like, but like stuff like that engagement. It's something I'm interested in. I think at some point or another I'm going to go into like your content creation and stuff like that because I enjoy it. I don't mind speaking to a camera. I don't mind speaking to someone.
I think you should. I think you'd be an absolute natural at
hopefully
YouTube.
One day.
No, I think you should. I think you should. Why can't you do like the GoPro in the goal right now?
Yeah.
The audience that you would get and the inspiration that you'd give other people to enjoy the sport coming back here, I think you'd probably find that you get a really big following really quickly, by the way.
Yeah, I've to be fair, on like the England page, I've had like a lot of clicks in regards to like just saves of like me, or like me being me, like me chatting on the camera, me being a little bit cocky or something like that. So I mean, it's definitely something I want to explore in the future. So I won't write it off, and thanks for not being the only person that thinks it.
No, watch this space. I think you've got a huge career ahead of you, not just in the sport, but in the social media aspect of it, mate. I can see you going really far.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Right, thank you for coming on, Tom Atkinson. This has been a class episode, mate. I've proper buzzed off it. You know? Thank you, and good luck for the season. Good luck for the championships and everything like that, mate.
Absolutely. Thank you. You too. Best of luck for the season.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot. Right, this has been the Yours, Mine, Away podcast with me, Mark Howard. Top guest, by the way, Tom Atkinson. Absolutely buzzing off that. Massive thank you to my sponsors, Mito Red Light and also Forged Irish Stout. They help us grow behind the scenes a lot more than other people would really see. Please make sure you subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. Tom Atkinson, everyone.
Thank you. You too.
What a save from Mark Howard.